to Marsha's Plate. This is an interview episode where we talk to friends, family, other community members, and anybody else we want to talk to. Hey brother, hey brother, hey sister, hey sister, hey sibling, how are you? Hey brother, hey brother, hey sister, hey sibling, how are you? Hey, how you been doing? Just checking in today. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your girl, Diamond, and I am so excited about this conversation because this is one of my favorite people in the world. This is somebody who, at 1 o'clock in the morning or 12 in the afternoon, we gonna be on the phone for at least 2 hours cutting the shit.
We are.
Dude, talking our shit, having fun, kikiing, having serious, thoughtful, deep conversation. Also, some motherfucking high film kikis too. This is just one of my bitches that I fucking love, and I want to introduce her to y'all. If you don't know her, her name is Samantha Master, and she is an amazing organizer. She is a fat black film, my favorite motherfucker out here, just teaching us how to navigate this world in a way that I, I just learned so much from you, and I hope you learned as much as I from me.
Diamond. First and foremost, you better make me feel real cunty on today, okay? Oh my God. I'm so excited to be in your presence. I'm so excited to be in this conversation with you and the Marsha's Plate family. And so, yeah, I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you for having me. And I can't wait to get into the foolishness, the fabulousness, and the real shit with you.
Period. So, as I do with anybody I interview, I always ask, where did you grow up and who was loving on you? Who was your family unit? Who was the people around you that said, this baby needs to be taken care of and I'm gonna take care of it? Who was loving on you? Who was around?
Oh, girl. So I grew up in PG County, Maryland, right outside of DC. Shout out to the PG County baddies. And then when I was about 10, we moved from PG to Howard County, which is right between DC and Baltimore. My mom is from Baltimore. My dad is from DC. And so my mom was a hood bitch. She loved her DC nigga. Um, and growing up in PG County, I went to an all Black Catholic school. And it was just such a formational experience in my life. Like my principal, Sister Marilyn, was a Black nun who never wore a habit. She always had on these brightly colored suits. They would be like electric blue and pink and yellow. And she always wore brown sugar stockings. Okay, if you have a certain age, you know about the power of a brown sugar stocking.
Come on.
And like a jet brown, okay? And that school was one of the early places that really did teach Black children how to love themselves and how to self-affirm. And that was affirming. And then, my mama was a child. She was the youngest girl of 8 siblings. And when I was born, all of her siblings were alive. And so I am the youngest girl of my mom's siblings. So everybody in my family doted on me. Like my aunts and uncles were incredible. They got me whatever I wanted. They just were always there for me. And so I grew up in a loving family, and that my family and my extended family was just really present. We'll get into my daddy later, but I was adopted by my mom's boyfriend, who I affectionately call my daddy. He raised me. He told me when I was 2 years old, I don't care who your sperm donor is, you will always be my child. And that was just true until the day he died on June 3rd, 2014. He just loved me immensely, although he had his own issues. And not only did he love me, but his family loved me as one of their own. So my god sister, who I have known since I was 2 years old, she lives up the street from me. And her parents helped raise me, and her child, who's 9, is now my godchild. And her, like, she is the first person who taught me how to be a Black femme. She came out to me when she was 14. So I grew up with a family that was, bougie Black people from Baltimore, lived in Baltimore, were teachers, were postal workers. All of my family are either teachers or postal workers, with the exception of my mom, who worked for the Internal Revenue Service for 42 years. Both my parents did. But I didn't grow up with any, I didn't feel like I grew up with any lack, even though we weren't rich. And yeah, I felt well loved as a child. Um, and yeah, those just, I'm so grateful for that experience. I had a Black ass childhood.
I was recently going down a rabbit hole with one of these MAGA Heritage Foundation motherfuckers, and how one of their focuses was on how Black people, like, kind of what was their successes. Now, mind you, this is one of those MAGA Heritage Foundation people. He was like, how did they
Evan
be,
Roberts,
yes, how did
Evan
they
Roberts of the Heritage Foundation. Yep.
how did they become successful? And one of the things that he's found in his research was that our we have a matriarchal structure, even within patriarchy and how it affects. We have a matriarchal structure where our women hold a lot of power and maneuvering. We don't get out of slavery without women. We don't get out
Yep.
of slavery. We just don't. And one of the things that one of the nuances of it is he found that we had a bunch of extended family. It wasn't just this unit, father, mother, da 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 da. In order for us to be able to run away from a plantation and go up north, we had to find them unbloodline related cousins, them unbloodline related aunties and uncles at a boarding house that can allow me to sleep here and stay here while I find work and blah blah blah. That we do not survive without that chosen family, extended, loving. And it's no surprise that as a Black queer person, as we know, that expands to even other identities that we share. And so I
Mhm.
found that in my experience as a young Black boy at the time, and then as I gotten older, and become the woman that I am, that is such a core value of how I survived through my whole thing. There's no hardship that I remember come growing up that I didn't get out of it with some help from extended family.
Child, this has been the source of a rabbit hole I've been in for a little bit. So just to reaffirm, so y'all know the nigga's name. That bitch ass motherfucker's name, I should say that. His name is Kevin Roberts, and he is the president of the Heritage Foundation. Now, the president before him was a Black woman. And we will get into her in a little bit. But Kevin Roberts, when he was doing his PhD research and his master's research, decided to focus on Black people, especially in antebellum, or before the end of chattel slavery in 1863, but really, 1866. Um, Decided to focus on, like, how did people get free, and then what were the relationships that they had. And and so, like, that level of deep research, one, is tells me that these motherfuckers are obsessed with us. Okay. And shout out to us for being worthy of being obsessed about. And my whole thing right now is all Black people are adopted. And, like, the politics, like, we gotta really adopt a belief about the importance of chosen family, because all Black people, especially folks who are descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, but East also y'all on the continent too. Let's talk about it. We are all adopted, because what the transatlantic slave trade as a system did is it separated families. And so we didn't have, and one, a lot of those families were, if you could afford it, one could have been like one husband and multiple wives. There were also, people who were female husbands and male wives,
Yes.
right? So we know that there's transness and queerness on the continent before and during the transatlantic slave trade. But during that system of violence and fracturing, it destructs our families. And so we have to create new family systems. So it's not just that I lose my mother, as Sadia Hartman writes about, it's that I lose my family and then I end up in a place where I know no one. And there is somebody who is taking care of us, who is doing this care work that is literally making sure people eat, making sure people are taken care of, that they have, that they can steal a little bit from the master's house to give out provision. And so the recreation of family through chosen family is Black people's history during and immediately after and after the transatlantic slave trade, because also we're being sold from plantation to plantation. So I get sold from a plantation in Maryland and I end up in Louisiana as Harriet Tubman's sister does, completely divorced from the entirety of her family that's on the Eastern Shore. Sarah has to create family in Louisiana to survive. And so we are all adopted by someone. And I just think that's such an important part of why I love Black people, especially Black women and Black queer and trans folks, because then that's where we get the language of chosen family.
So tell me about your gender journey growing up, and how did you come to know about your gender? What was the expectations? How did you buck up against those expectations at a younger age, like preteen? Who was teaching you about gender? What was informing you? What were your thoughts in your younger time about your gender?
But y'all, I was a fat, dark-skinned Black girl in PG County, Maryland in the 90s. And that just informed my life. I actually didn't grow up. I grew up with a mother who was very, very thin. Like my mom, when she passed in 2024, was her heaviest weight in my life, and she was maybe 160 pounds. And so she was very small and really held this belief that girls ought to be small, right? You ought to be skinny and pretty. No, definitely believe Black was beautiful. Nobody ever made me question my racial heritage. They always thought that like Black people were beautiful. They grew up, my mom was born in 1949, my daddy was born in 1942. And so they kind of came of age during the civil rights. And they were in their like 20s and 30s during the Black Power movement. Um, but being fat and dark skinned made me incredibly self-conscious. I was teased by other children for being fat. I never felt pretty. And I couldn't dress. I had no style, y'all. I had no style when I was a child. I didn't get cute till I was in my 30s. 30 hit different. Okay, the real ones know 30 hits different. And sometimes you don't pop off until you hit 30. But yeah, I felt very undesirable. And so sought a lot of validation. Men, when I was a young person, like 10, 11, 12, and I was also being preyed on by older men. Then when I came out at 14, right? I came out at 14, it was probably 2001, 2002. It was 2002. Um, it was like Black women who I was dating or seeing or meeting online in places like Black Planet. And in the Yahoo chat room, there was a Black lesbian Yahoo
Downlink.
chat room. Downlink, bitch. Those were the places that I started to feel pretty and affirmed. And I think, yeah, my gender journey, because I used to skip school and take two buses and two trains into DC to go to this queer youth drop-in center. And trans girls and the femme queens, the Black femme queens and trans girls who were there, taught me so much about beauty and self adornment. And so did my god sister Sade. I cannot have this conversation without saying the person who really modeled feminist for me was my god sister. I remember one summer, she took all my sneakers out of my closet and said, "Bitch, you're gonna learn how to walk in some heels. You're not gonna be in the club embarrassing me. Just get it together, hoe." And she is still one of the most stylish people I've ever met and I know. And so when she came out to me as a lesbian, and she was maybe 13 and I was maybe 11 at the time. And then she was like 14 and I was 12. And then I came out shortly thereafter, a couple of years later. I felt like I had this community of people who were like, no, we are beautiful. We are fabulous. And fuck what those other people think. We are fabulous. And then, y'all, I got into the history of feminist as a gender. And that's where that shit really started to shake. I read this book called Stonebridge Blues by Les Feinberg and learned about femme identity as a countercultural, like, femininity. Because I wasn't going out looking for niggas, I was going out looking for the bitches. But I had to like give subtle signals to the bitches that I was into them. But I still wanted to be a girl and be pretty. And so it was like in that kind of, oh, we gonna stay out till 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna get in trouble because I done missed the last train home. But it's those people who I really think of. And also my mom. My mom was incredibly beautiful. And I just think that I wanted to be like her. So I think that those are the things that inform my femininity. And then when I left the church and got around the real gays, I kind of rejected what I knew. And it took me a long time to just kind of figure out what my own jam was in terms of gender. But I'm telling you, the trans girls, the femme queens, the femme lesbians, the studs who was like, "Ooh, put this on. I love the way this looks on you." Those are the people who, and then Black church ladies, also Black church ladies, and I grew up in church. Those are the people who kind of inform my gender journey.
Oh my God, I want to thank all of our new patrons this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay, 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 yay. So not only are you helping to sustain this particular podcast, I also donate to other podcasts. I donate to other organizations. I have my finger on the pulse of the community, and I know a lot of grassroots organizations that are doing great work out here. So you're not only helping to sustain us, you're helping to sustain other people in a community, because I put my money where my mouth is. That's just the kind of bitch I am. Community is fuck. So thank you. I really, really appreciate you. And if you have not become a patron, why have you not? You can donate as low as $1 a month. It doesn't matter. Anything helps. Please. Do I have to play Sarah McLachlan and show you puppies? Like, what do I have to do? Do I have to resort to what the white people do to get you to give them money?
Anyway, the link is in the bottom. Back to the show. Did you watch the I know I'm somebody, this is I don't want to say beneath me, but it's certain conversations that I am just drawn to because I think that they're powerful. And one of them recently is the Cam Newton and Saucy Santana interview.
Bitch.
So what you
What
just
you think?
so wait. So what you just made me think about is when you were saying that about the femme queens and the trans women and trans girls and just this array and plethora of people who kind of informed and kind of taught you, just made you think deeply about who you are and your identity in regards to that. And I couldn't help. I knew, because neither one of them have the range. I knew I knew it wasn't going to be discussed, but I couldn't help but to watch that conversation and think, Cam, you are not going to acknowledge this. But one of the reasons why you are free to dress how you are dressed is because of people like Saucy Santana who came before
Yes.
you, who extended the range of which straight men could dress and be open. I'm not saying that it's only people like Saucy Santana, but people like him, Prince, even the rock stars
21
of
Savage.
yes, it is so many people who laid the foundation for you to be this free in your style of dress. Are people still gonna be like, "Oh, he dressed like a fag," or he gay? Look at how he dressed. Yes, ignorant, low level ass buffoons are gonna think like that. But Your confidence, yes, as a man, you stand in your confidence. This is how I want to dress. I want to dress quote unquote weird or I want to dress like this. Yes, that you personally have to stand in your confidence. But one of the reasons why you're this free is because of people like Saucy Santana. And I don't think people were
Absolutely.
clocking that. I don't think that either one of them was clocking that connection, that historical connection about how queer people allow for more expansiveness in these cisgender heterosexual motherfuckers' way of being.
I think you need to say that again. Like, oh my God. First and foremost, when Samson had said, yo, your bodysuit, I screamed. I screamed to scream. I screamed to scream. Yellow bodysuit. Yes. Yes to the bodysuit.
Right.
um, Cam, bless bless his heart. And I mean that in the most shady southern way I could possibly muster. But I think that straight folks have to remember that they have never been outside of space with queer folks. And I have an elder, Ruby Sales, who will always tell me that there are always Black, queer, and trans people in Black communities. And then you go to places like the Williams Institute out of UCLA that affirmed it in a report a couple years ago that Black, trans, and queer people live where Black people live. The reason we live in the South is because Black people live in the South. We always go. We wasn't never going to go to the neighborhood. One is we can't ever afford the neighborhood for real, unless it's the one or two of us who got a white spouse. Um, but yeah, so we live with our people. So like, here's how it plays out in a place like P Valley, which we both love. We don't like, child. I can't wait for season 3 to come out. Like, girl,
Fuck
sister,
you, motherfucking Nikki Gilbert for stopping this motherfucking shit from coming out. You suing and acting like, girl, I'm so mad at her because she's blocking our fucking blessing.
blocking our blessing. Like, how is you cool?
Is you
Obviously, you're
cool?
not. Um, but yeah, you always had hairdressers that were gay. You always had a neighborhood auntie, whether or not she was like a deep part of the community, but like still was there. There was always a trans woman who was in the community. You always had gay men and lesbians who were, the lesbian auntie. We all have this joke about the lesbian auntie and her friend, who we all know that they fucking, but there's her friend or her roommate. And so you have people like gay, especially gay men doing women's hair, but also gay folks have been the style keepers. Trans folks have been the style keepers. So y'all are the people we go to when we want to know how to be the baddest bitch, right? You always had the
Masculine
drug
or
dealer,
feminine?
masculine or feminine. The drug dealer's girlfriend is always going to the trans girls on a stroll, or to the femme queen or the butch queen to get them together in terms of fashions. Okay? And then they taking that and they're doing whatever they're doing with it. But then they're also influencing, like, then we grow up with people. We grow up with Black people. So of course we grow up going to church. Of course we grow up going to whether it's the VFW or the sorority and fraternity events, but we see how Black people dress and then we emulate and we build upon it because all style is like an iteration of each other.
Right.
It's all iterative. So, like, do you think that we wasn't a part of your ability to be more free, whether we're talking about in a political sense or literally freer to like expand self-expression? No.
Just because you erase us in your mind, or you try to ignore us, or try to make us disgusting enough to not look at us with care or humanity, blah blah blah, doesn't mean you exist. And I say that because not it wasn't recently, but a couple of years ago, I got into it with Benzino, the rapper guy, light skin.
The one who abandoned his daughter, LaCoy.
Yes. So yeah, so all of a sudden that says enough in itself. But we got into it in his comments because he's from Boston. Anybody know my history? Was I was coming up in Boston when I moved to Boston when I was 9. And he was trying to act like it wasn't gay people in Boston. And he was in where even in the area that he was from. I'm like, nigga, I lived in that area, motherfucker, and I saw trans and queer people. You literally had Althea Garrison getting outed in the Boston Globe in 1992. Bitch, shut the fuck up lying. Just because you are ignoring us or you trying to act like you got this special, nah, that wasn't in our area. We didn't have that type of stuff and blah, 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 blah. Bitch, you fucking lying. You were just ignoring them. Or now, and this conversation started to happen because now you getting exposed because you like Ashana Brooks, because you in these conversations with trans women behind the scene. Nigga, you ain't got a lot of fucking kick it. I knew it was queer people and trans people in your area. You don't have some special area.
I wanted to double check this, so I had to run to the Googles real quick. But the Company River Collective statement was written in Boston.
Ha! Yes.
Black lesbian feminist bitch in 1970 and fucking 7 wrote that statement, gathered for a year before writing it, and wrote that statement in Boston. Some niggas is dumb and they treat their stupidity as if it is law, and I don't understand it. There has never been a community where there have been Black people and there have not been Black trans and queer people. And what I really hate about our culture, our perpetual culture of being online without sources loud and wrong, is that one, I don't think kitchen table conversations and barbershop conversations were ever supposed to make it to the mainstream. And two, this environment, the digital environment we're in, has given people so much space to be loud, wrong, and unapologetic about being dumb. And I just want people to read a fucking book. Read a fucking book and get out of my face. With love. With love. With love. I'm supposed to be about feminists with love.
So how did you get here? So we come from, we come from Banji sets. And how did you come to learn being a femme was a politic? You talked about that a little bit earlier. When did that start to shift and how did it start to shift? Where it's not just me performing femininity for the male gaze and blah 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 blah. You just named something earlier where how can I let you know that I'm a girl and I'm into you, but I like to be femme too. I'm not just some stud or masculine person walking around. I'm decentering men. I like you, but how do I Oh, you just named that. And so what started to change in you? What started to shift? What are some moments in your life where it's like, oh, this film shit ain't just a performance, it's a politic for me.
Mm, it's really been in conversations with people like you, girl. It's been, it's really been around being around femmes, people who are not straight or who are straight. That you are straight. You queer than a bitch, but you straight. You like it.
Period.
Uh, um, but it's been by being around Black femmes and seeing there was a FemCon. There used to be a thing called FemCon, and it was a gathering of femmes. And it happened, I want to say maybe a decade ago, probably more. Right? There used to be a Butch Voices conference. Um, and I realized at that FemCon, I appreciated. I think I went one year. And if I didn't go, then I read about it because there used to be like these underground Butch Femme publications. Like there was literally a Butch Femme mm, website. And that's when I realized that Black femme and white femmes are not, I didn't realize it, but it really like crystallized to me that Black femmes and white femmes are not the same gender.
Mm.
That there's a tradition. What is it? There is a tradition of self adornment that comes out of Black women and Black poor and working class women because it was about reclaiming our dignity from institutions and from a world that did not see us as women and did not see us as human. And so where we connect, I'm like, bitch, that dress is beautiful. Those earrings are beautiful. It is not about performing for men. There is a politic of self love and self adornment that is at the center. And
that
I'm just gonna go.
that a white femme didn't have to grapple with. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so they were moving against the expectations of of their fathers, their brothers, their either real or would be husbands. We were moving in a space of dignity and reclamation of our humanity. And we did that by dressing in a particular way that people will code as respectability politics. But it was really about dignity and clothes, our aesthetic presentation as an expression of our dignity. And I'm gonna go off on a tangent a little bit, but that's why these fucking soft life bitches get under my skin in a real way. Soft life aesthetics is trad white for black people. It's trad white in blackface.
Facts.
We are black women, but we can really love ourselves. We can really adorn ourselves. We can take bath and wear clothes and wear makeup if we choose that makes us feel good about ourselves. Because the other thing that makes Black femme culture different than white femme culture and even straight Black woman culture is that it is based in a type of not just self love, but a belief that we are entitled to beauty often through non-exploitative means. We're not trying to take advantage of somebody to be beautiful. We're not trying to take advantage of each other to be beautiful. If there's a scene in P Valley where all of the girls at the club are helping Mercedes get ready for her final dance. And there is a culture of care in that. There's like the girls are powdering her legs with like the shimmery dust and they're lotioning her back and they're helping her tie her bra. Femme, Black femme culture is about caring for each other. It's about we beautify ourselves for ourselves and for no one else. It is a signal, but it is also kind of a culture that is Black feminist, that is a Black feminism that says you ain't got to be rich to be fine, to be beautiful. And because we are told we are ugly, right? Lesbians are ugly, trans with the popular knowledge. I want to be very clear. I don't believe this. Popular kind of the thing they say about us, what dominant culture says is that Black women are ugly. Trans women are inherently ugly because they are not biological women. Even while they will talk about straight Black women as men too, that disabled people are ugly or undesirable. It is, I think it was finding a community who deeply believed in this, that not only are we beautiful because we say we are beautiful, but that care for each other is a part of how we practice beauty. And so yeah, I really shout out my god sister, Sade Marshall, for opening the door for me. And I appreciate you and I appreciate it, Jamie Brace Alexander and Island Couture out of Baltimore and fucking Molly or Melissa Devereaux. I appreciate, um, you know, people like Ariana Mayweather and Vision Wilson, who's my nieces, my like fan familiar movement nieces who just really practice, I think, a Black femme politic.
I think also that's why I appreciate seeing one of my favorite pictures of Toni Morrison when she was in the club with that kind of like silk dress and little outfit and when I see them in their feminist
That's
and
what I moved.
kind of yeah, I appreciate it because sometimes we see them as the serious intellectual academic da 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 da, but we are there. Many of them were also femmes and enjoyed being a woman and enjoyed their femininity and I think sometimes when you are put in a position as a griot or as a thought leader, sometimes because of how misogyny and patriarchy work, being a femme can undermine that intellect. Being a femme can make people not take you seriously because a real serious woman thought leader dressed like Diane Keaton, a real a real
Oh
serious
no, not a Tilda Swinton ass serious bitch.
a real thought leader would not have her titties out and boosted up and da 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 da. No, bitch, I'm a femme. I like my body. I like being a woman. But I'm also smart, bitch ass motherfucker.
Okay, so let me bring yes. And I want to name a couple more people who I think have deeply shaped my femme politics, and that's Nia Martin Robinson, um, Angela Peoples. I know that there are so many more people that I'm just like blanking on, but I do want to do an ode to Black femmes because it there are so many of us, and just by existing, we have like made more space for each other. But yes, like shout out to Kai Lamamba Barrow, who said today, he's like, these revolutionaries, they real serious. They don't like to fucking have fun. And I'm like, revolutionaries, we need to have fun. We need to have our titties out. We need to have on fucking, and not we need to, it's to the degree people are willing or able. But if the revolution is not enjoyable, if I can't have a beat on and be a revolutionary, I don't fucking want it. Okay. And the Combahee River Collective talks about this in their statement. It's called the Combahee River Collective, a Black feminist statement for anybody who wants to look it up. But they talk about being called smart ugly, that there is this disconnect that happens when Black women who are smart then get coded as ugly because because your intellect challenges men and patriarchal culture. And I think while that is true, especially for that group of women, again in 1970 through 77, 1976 through 77, when they're writing, I'm sorry, 19, yes, 76 and 77 when they're writing a statement, I think there is something that, again, Black femme culture invites us to think about, with not about whether we are ugly or pretty by white people's standards, by patriarchal men's standards, but that beauty is our birthright. That, like, again, beauty in the ways that we see it, the ways we make it, the ways we make it real, the ways you will take a fucking sheet and make a curtain, the ways you will take junk and make some earrings is a part of our cultural birthright, bitch. I'm trying to be a fine bitch in a revolution, okay? And if I can't be a fine bitch in a revolution, your revolution ain't for me. If I can't be fine, my people can't be free, if we can't have no jewelry on, if we can't have no beat, no lip, no fucking bust down,
Without
I,
centering men. I know
without censoring men.
as a person who dates cisgender men, unfortunately, I have been ailed by that. Um,
It's okay. We tolerate you. We accept you as you are.
thank you, thank you, thank
This
you.
is a safe space. This is a safe space. I'll
Harm
put a sticker
reduction
on the door.
politic. Oh, please give me grace and you have handle me with a harm reduction politic when you see me dealing with my addiction. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But also my how I present is not always about new. Now, I can't say when I go to the club and I'm looking to hook up, honey, I'm gonna dress a certain way for me to
Okay.
attract the nigga that I'm doing. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm not picking my clothes because I want a nigga to be attracted to me. It has nothing to do with that. I am a woman that likes being a woman, that likes my body the way it is. And so there are many conversations, particularly, and I'm not even talking about the cisgender, the heterosexuals. I'm talking about even in the butch versus femme, masculine versus feminine. There's a conversation that does try to undermine us and think that everything we do revolves around men if we even remotely make adorn ourselves in a way that's feminine or the way that aligns with some of the cis heteronormative way of dressing in a dress or in colors and having our hair a certain way, all of that kind of stuff. I am a black queer trans woman. My adornment is going to be a blend. Black American. It's going to be a blend of how I grew up. I grew up in the 90s. I grew up seeing beautiful people that were classy too because I grew up in the church. And so I know the from what classy looked like from a Whitney Houston and from the Eastern Star old ladies who was at my church.
And the hood bitches and the hood figures, right?
And
The
the
hood,
hood bitches like
because
my mama in biker shorts and hoops and coming and tipping around the neighborhood. I knew that, and some that was strippers. I knew that that was ultra femme and sexy, and how I could tell. I remember I could be able to tell when how a stripper was, and she didn't have to be naked. It's just how she uh, how she chose her clothes for her body to accentuate her femininity, even when she was not at work. I could see it, and it was a beautiful thing. It's something I was a proud to be a part of once I became an adult or a teenage woman exploring how I wanted to dress. And for me, it wasn't about
mm,
men. It wasn't about men.
this makes me think of two things. One is I'm reading manifestos right now, and one manifesto that I just read again was the STAR manifesto. STAR stands for Street Transvestite Action Revolutionary.
Yes.
It was written by Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. And what it reminds me of is it reminds me of many things, but they talk about street people, which is a class. Dr. Charlene Carruthers says the statement of class solidarity, that they were street people. It is a poor and working class statement. And they talk about their gay and lesbian street people. And what I think of is that femme lesbian women, especially in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, were one, often sex workers and strippers because they were unmarried. So there was a kind of a social price, a social tax, if you will, for being unmarried and not rich.
Yeah.
And so, along with trans women and along with femme gay men, were often on the streets because they were street based sex workers or they were in the strip clubs, right? And so, there is a way that we knew, and still today, a lot of strippers are gay or at least like bi. Like Cardi B, when she was stripping, she was with women because you spend like, you are crafting an image. Sex work is about imagery, imagination. And so we understand how to cater to men, but we try to cater to men to exploit them as much as we can under this fucking patriarchal system we in. Bitch, I'm trying to run your pockets, okay? And then I'm gonna go do some shit that gives me pleasure for real. Because if my job is providing pleasure to you, that means actually my own pleasure is not at the center of it. So I'm gonna go to the people who care about my pleasure. And those are often other women and other queer and trans folks. And so I think that that to me is like some of the really, and that's why Black femme culture to me is so particularly kind of cultural. It's like, yeah, we could do that. We can do, I can go play that role. I can go dress up and, try to appeal to men, but I'm doing it to exploit them. I truly am. I'm doing it to exploit them. When I'm doing it with my people, the people who I'm really attracted to, the people who I really love and I really want, both historically, right, in history and right now, then there's a different, I have to engage with them in a different way. I have to engage with them in a kind of a more equitable way. And so there's some things I have to do that are different. And it's not about trying to make myself look good for y'all niggas. It's about trying to make myself feel good, like for my own self. And that's where I want more Black more Black people to be. That how you choose to be in the world is about making yourself feel good and dignified, not harming other people, not even trying to perform, but that you get to be in who you are with your own full dignity while also holding and recognizing the dignity of other people and not trying to fuck that over.
We are just coming off the beautiful celebration of Juneteenth. We are in
Mm-hmm.
we are in June, which is Pride Month. We are also in Black Music Month in June. It's a lot of stuff that we are kind of coming off of. We're at the end of June. Listen, there is so many times that we erase the coalition between Black femmes and Black trans women, Black cis femmes and Black trans women. And I think it's for the reason that you're just talking about. It's sometimes it's so counterculture that motherfuckers want to erase it. But I think about or queer women, queer and trans women in community doing these amazing things. So even thinking about, even though we know Stonewall ain't the end all be all of pride, that was a catalyst of something in this country. Of course, we know about Compton cafeteria riots in San Francisco. We know the Dewey
Mm-hmm,
protests
mm-hmm.
out in
Yeah. Do we
Philly.
lunch trying to sit in yet?
Yeah, we have so many things that happened. That's just not one, but people like to focus on Stonewall. So let's go there. And I've been seeing these recent conversations about um, the erasure of Stormy in Stonewall and in that conversation. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's really, really important when we talk about Stonewall that we are not taking her out of that conversation. This was a coalition of femmes.
Yes.
And so it is important, and when we think about what you were talking about in regards to the strippers and in that community and the community of kind of sex workers, blah blah blah. One of the mm, Francis Thompson and Lucy Smith out of Memphis when the
Mm-hmm.
Memphis riots was going on in 1866. Them white men was mad that we got any kind of freedom. They were using sexual violence. They were using violence and lynching. They were doing what the motherfuckers do back then. When they are losing power, they get violent. And one of the things that was just a powerful insight was that Francis Thompson was in a boarding
Mm-hmm.
house with Lucy Smith, a cisgender woman. A trans woman they were living together. But it also, Juneteenth, go back to that newspaper clipping that I recently shared that we found with Lizzie Montgomery, where she was a slave, so she couldn't be transitioned. But soon as she found out that she was free, she started to live as Lizzie Montgomery in her own community because she couldn't go in white communities. This is directly after slavery with Juneteenth here in Texas. And so the
Mm-hmm.
newspaper clipping said, yo, she had always been into the femme stuff, but now that that Juneteenth is happened, she is free, and now she has gone and become Lizzie Montgomery, and nobody was bothering her. What that indicates to me is that somewhere in the Black community, she felt safe to be able to fucking transition.
And I think about Tourmaline's short film about Seneca Village as
Yes.
a part of this lineage, right? So both in Texas and in Memphis, but also in New York, in
Yeah.
Seneca Village, which is the birthplace of what is now known as Central Park, where they literally tore up an eminent domain, stole a Black community, displaced them. But there were trans people in Seneca Village. There were gay people and queer people in Seneca Village. There were straight people in Seneca Village. And so queer, Black, trans, and queer people be with Black people. And I can't express this enough. I can't express it enough. That the biggest psyop of modern times has been to to convince Black people we must excommunicate our trans and queer siblings in service of a white supremacist project that was never meant to persist. And so it is not only is it a psyop, but it's a lie. It is a deep lie. Your churches that you revere do not exist without Black trans queer, and queer people and without Black women. Your hair salons, your cultural institutions, your Black art, your Black science, your um, faith institutions, your political institutions, our institutions of education do not exist without Black trans and queer people bringing themselves and their loves and their being and living in our communities. I mean, it makes me think of Lucy Diggs Slow. Um, Mama Ruby Sales was generous enough to share with me the story of Lucy Diggs Slow, a founder of AKA, a Black lesbian feminist in the early 20th century who lived with her partner, Mary Burrell. And Lucy Diggs Slow is the first dean of women at Howard University. She does not live in the women's dorm. She chooses to not live in the women's dorm so that she can live in a house with her partner,
Even though
Mamie
they was trying
Burrell.
to force her to
They were
live
trying to,
on campus.
right? At the time she's hired, Howard has a white president. It is the Black president that comes in and launches a campaign to make her um, move on campus and tries to shame her. And Black people rally around Lucy Diggs Sloan. She is not just the first dean of women. She is a Olympic tennis. She is a scholar. She is one of the founders of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. She has been inviting these Black women thought leaders to her home with her partner to have conversations about um, Negro women and our mandate for education in this time, in the time of the early 20th century, in the late night. Yes, like, and then the first Black president of Howard, not Harvard, but Howard, decides that how she's been living, free in how she be, is unacceptable, and decides that he is going to launch a campaign against her, a campaign that ultimately kills. And so Black folk who are trying to convince us right now, whether it's online or in real life through our foundational institutions, that Black trans and queer people do not belong, are living in the legacy of some bullshit that they adopted from white people and won't let go of because it makes them feel powerful.
In that vein, if you want to even our legal, what we have, our legal gains that came in the 1900s, most of the gains, the big ones, like when we think about Brown versus Board of Education, when we think about all the work that Ruth Bader Ginsburg did in regards to women's rights, like
Mhm.
Polly Murray is the legal mind that led to those wins. This is openly admitted by a Thurgood Marshall who led Brown versus Board of Education. Her legal mind and framework, her vantage point as a queer
Or
woman.
his. It depends
Or
on how you,
if
or
I
his.
I think that they are trans.
They are trans. They tried to go. They went to Europe to get hormones. Were denied. Dr. Charlene Carruthers recently said in a conversation we had that part of why Jane Crow came to be is because Pauli Murray couldn't transition. And if
Right.
Pauli Murray could transition, then we may not have had the legal infrastructure that they created around Jane Crow. I mean, and also let me tell you, the white women were breaking that niggas hard. Okay, let me tell and this is why you need to be very careful with the white people you choose, because the white bitches, both in the US and Europe, was breaking Polly's heart. Okay, but Polly had to be institutionalized. Polly was from Baltimore, whose daddy was institutionalized in a mental institution for Negroes, right outside of Baltimore in Mechanicsville, Maryland, a terrible facility, terribly violent, was killed by guards in that facility when Polly was 3 years old. My understanding, and y'all can check me, is that Polly's mama died either shortly before or shortly thereafter. And that's when they went to North Carolina. They were sent to North Carolina to live with their aunt. And even right now, on today, in the Pauli Murray Library in Durham, in the Pauli Murray house, the house they grew up in, they don't talk about Pauli being queer and trans. And if you read Pauli's writings, my understanding is that if you read Pauli's writings,
It's
that
clear.
clear as day, that Pauli was trans. The legal mind behind Jane Crow, behind that really was actually much smarter than Thurgood Marshall, but we can get into that later. The first woman, and I'll use that in quotation marks, Episcopal priest is who Pauli Murray is,
She
was
came
a
before
black
her
trans person,
time.
a, a portal, a black feminist portal into how we should be in community with trans people and also disabled people. Because,
And
like I said,
influence
go ahead,
of
girl.
influence of this woman had a direct connection to the first lady.
Eleanor Roosevelt with her gay ass.
Yes. First, when we think about, it's just you don't have the rights that we are fighting, that they're trying to peel back right now without Polly Murray. You just don't. And so and we can talk about Bayard Rustin, tons of queer people
I mean,
around.
we we could also get into the Kathy Cohen of it all, who says
Kathy
that
Cohen.
all black people are queer, right? That like just by virtue of being black Michelle Obama. Just think about this. Hear me out, y'all. And I'm not talking to you specifically, Diamond, but to your audience largely. Hear me out. Michelle Obama is straight. She has been queered because she is not viewed by white people as a woman. And so, what would it mean to just, there was an article in Autostraddle a couple months ago, maybe a year or so ago, about being a political lesbian. But I'm like, y'all, black women and white women ain't never been the same gender. Like black non-trans women ain't never been the same gender as white women. So why are we even trying to claw for that bullshit? I don't want it. I can't be free if you're not free, Diamond. And that's why I will fucking fight for you. And not only will I fight for you, I will put my body on the line for you. Because if you can't be free, then neither can I. And I don't want a world where it ain't neither of us free.
Facts. That's the truth.
But I'm so curious, right? When you learned about Pauli Murray and Storm and even Gladys Bentley and folks like that, and the woman who helped Asada when she was a teenager, the trans woman who helped and loved on Asada when she was a teenager, what did that do for you as a black trans woman?
For
How did
me,
that affirm you?
that's what it did. It affirmed what I already knew, what I already was living. I remember growing up and my black mom being helped by queer people, whether it be gay or trans or stuff like that. And she wasn't even, she wasn't the most affirming person, especially in my younger years. She wasn't, baby, she loved to use an F bomb, and she problematic in that way. But when it comes to helping each other, I remember when my mom got kicked out of her shelter. Now this is shade, but this is the fucking truth. When my mama got kicked out of her shelter in Boston, you know who my mama went and lived with? My
Who?
stepdad's gay friend. I feel like my stepdad was DL. And
Okay.
this was a queer relationship that they had, and this was the only resource to help my mama in this emergency moment. So I remember we leaving, packing our shit up, having to get out the shelter, and coming in this man's house, and it was obvious as a 10-year-old that this was a gay man. And in my brain, as a 10-year-old, and looking at my mama, and her looking at me, and but we ain't got no other place to go, and we knew what the hell is going on here. Something's going on here. How do you even know this gay boy? How do you even now that I'm older, I know what the T is, but that was one example where I was like the nuance of helping, the nuance of I remember the my homegirl coming to me and I got denied food stamps in February when I got custody of my brother, and they had to back pay me from February when they gave it to me by June. So I had all this whole card full of nothing but
Oh,
money.
bitch, you was balling.
Right. Whole month of food stamps. And my homegirl, I had not because I had a plethora of stamps. I took her right to the motherfucking to the fucking Safeway, and we filled up her fridge too because she was in my community and she fucked with me and I fucked with her. There was just a there has never been a life where queer and trans people weren't in community and a positive impact and a contributor to the survival in my life. I had a butch lesbian, my auntie Marvella, stud. Baby, my mama struggling, blah blah blah. Baby, this same stud because she a stud and she butch lesbian, slacks, old school curl, jerry curl, all of that.
Tell her to call me.
Her ass would go to the store with me, and because she was incognito, because she wasn't high film, they wouldn't be paying attention to her. Baby, she'll steal the house down at these motherfucking stores and bring a whole refrigerator of food, milk, eggs, meat, pack of meat back to my mama house because this was her motherfucking friend and she knew she needed stuff. And so for me, there is a survival that queer and trans people have been in, and I've seen it, I've saw it. There's a girl here, she's been on the show, Alanis. When I first met her, it was in a on a panel where a black lesbian was doting and just sharing how when my mama kicked me out for being a black lesbian, this black trans woman created a pallet for me in her house and fed me for years.
I mean, we can't talk about Asala's memorial service was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think May 23rd or 24th. And you were the one who hit me to, who like told me the story of Asada running away as a teenager and finding herself at a house. I think it's maybe in Alabama
I
of a
can't
black
remember
trans
exactly
woman.
where, but a black trans woman,
She
yeah, took her
of a
in.
black trans woman took her in, and that deeply informed how she was and who she be. And I want to talk about the future a little bit. I do. I want us to talk about the future and what our dreams and hopes are, because part of the fascist project, and again, you hit me onto this with that documentary on Netflix. What was it called? Um, Something, everything the Nazis hate. What was it called?
El Dorado.
Girl, El Dorado, girl. I was like, you told me to watch it. It's that the Nazis who learned to be Nazis from watching the US and were
Yeah.
studying the US and how they treated Black people. And in some ways said, y'all went a little too far with the Negroes. Y'all just, we can't do all of that. We can do some of it. We can't do all of it. But the Nazis had a targeted campaign as one of their first political campaigns to erase trans people
Yeah.
before they and before and during that they were in um Africa, right? So it was happening at the same time. They were actively working, because what people don't talk about is um the genocide they enacted on the continent. It was their first continental genocidal experiment. So they practiced it on Black people, and then they practiced it on trans people. And I think that's not a something we should like turn a blind eye to. I think it tells us about the time we are in now, that the attack, the targeted, intellectual, gender-based, religious, political attack on trans and intersex people, because I do want to shout out that I remember Caster Semenya, a Black lesbian intersex woman from South Africa who was targeted in the Olympics for not being gender conforming enough, even though she was assigned female at birth. And so Black folks and trans folks are always the canary in the coal mine. And we are not separately the canaries, we are the canaries at the same fucking time.
Right.
What they will do to Black people, to trans people, and to Black trans people, they will enact on all of us. And so it started with trans people in sports, which is bullshit. Because there weren't even enough trans people in fucking sports to be a fucking conversation. There weren't enough. Like, y'all let a bitch who lost guide your politics about trans people in sports, a fifth place bitch, a Nancy Mace fifth place ass bitch, Lila. Fuck you, hoe.
Right.
And that and DEI, they did it together. They did trans people and Black people because Black people in their mind are not people. Just like in their mind, trans people are not people. So if we allow them to continue to divide us, then not only do they win, but we all die at the expense of it. So the Nazis did that shit, right? They enacted a genocide on the continent. They enacted a genocide against trans people first in Germany.
Yeah.
And then they perfected it through the 11 million and more people they killed, who included socialists, trade unionists, political opposition, Christians, Jews. I don't know why Jews get all the credit. I'm like, yeah, y'all were 6 million. There was like 8 other million people who were murdered by the Germans, and we just don't talk about that. And somehow that becomes the basis for why Israel should exist. And so fuck Israel, and also fuck the belief that the Jews were the only ones who were killed during the attack, during the Nazis' reign. And we see it during like, this is a Nazi administration we're under. And so if we don't get clear, that for me, I believe in a Black abolitionist, feminist politics of life of affirmation. I want us to live. I want us to live. We deserve to live. We have so much to offer the world that those motherfuckers want us to die. They are death makers and we are life givers. But I want us to talk about the future. What are the futures that I will not? So, okay, just again, another tangent, but again, reading manifestos. And there's the National Black Feminist Organization, there's the National Alliance of Black Feminists, there is a national call, a call to Negro women that I've recently been put on to. But one of the things that broke Black feminist movements in the 70s was the infighting between Black straight women and Black lesbians. And we are producing the same type of shit right now between Black non-trans women, because I don't believe I am cis. I can't be cis because I'm not the same gender as white women. But there's a similar fracturing that's happening between Black non-trans women and Black trans women. And one way it was crystallized was at this year's Baltimore Trans Pride and Baltimore Pride. So one, why the fuck is Baltimore Trans Pride and Baltimore Pride on the same weekend? We deserve space to honor and celebrate trans people. Two, Dominique Morgan, Aya Damons, and other Black trans people were thrown out of Baltimore Pride by a Black lesbian. And I cannot say on camera what I wish for that person, but I will say that Black lesbians, Black queer women, we are not innocent subject. We are not innocent in trans oppression. And it is not right. It is not okay. It is absolutely, I'm so angry at us because we will not connect our oppression to our sisters. And that is not acceptable. So, like, the Black contingent needs to have a conversation because we can't let this shit last. So, I'm curious. Anyway, all of that to say, I'm curious about what the future you imagine looks like, where we do honor, love, respect, hold space for each other. What could that look like? And what's the work we need to do to get there?
Hmm. That's a big question. This is, I don't know, not problematic. This is spicy, but I want to create a world where people are so free that transition is unnecessary in regards to gender.
Okay, well, okay, bitch. Yeah,
I want people to be
yeah,
so free that I want the lines to be so blurred, the rules about gender to be so blurred that there is no a little boy who wants to be feminine, a little girl who wants to be masculine. Uh, I want science and freedom so deep that all of us can just be. When we come out the womb, whatever we gravitate towards, we can just be, and we don't have to have a name for it. There doesn't have
that's
to
right.
be, it doesn't have to be so this and this to where I have to transition to be this. I want everybody in the world to be so free in regards to their gender and their expression that there's it's it there's no need to transition because I can just go where I want to go. I want to become who I am to become a relic in towards the positive. I know I'm a trans woman and I had to transition da 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 da, but that's just I'm a product of my current of my upbringing where we were. But I want the
Hmm.
future to look like when a little boy like me is born, he can just be as whatever he wants to be. Where pronouns may there's language, we have languages in the world where pronouns don't even fucking exist. Gendered language doesn't exist. I want the world to be so free that they can just be whatever it is they want to be. I don't know how to get there. I'm contributing what I think I need to contribute. Um, and then we're a long way from it, but that's what I want to create. That's the future that I want to see, where we are so free and open that what we consider transitioning is unnecessary because
That's right.
the binary doesn't
That's
really
right.
exist.
That's right. That's right. And what I love about that and what it like strikes me in the chest around is we have been there before because there was a world where that existed. Like, we're not talking about a future that is just unimaginable because if you decide to read books written by people who know what the fuck they're talking about, it's a world that has existed. There's a book called Female Husbands and Male Wives. There's C. Riley Snowden's A Black Queer History of America, I believe. I could be getting the title wrong, but the
Black on both
idea,
sides.
Black on both sides, there have been worlds built by indigenous Black people, not indigenous, not the FBA type of indigenous, because fuck those people too. Bless their hearts. Um, we are not. We simply are not indigenous to
What's
these lands.
wait, what's the new word that starts with an S? The Sulan, Solon.
No,
Ain't
no.
it?
Oh no, not Solon. That's
That's
isn't ain't that sexy red, sexy Solon?
I don't know. It's something they got
Bitch,
all
are you
kinds of
telling me
names.
that sexy red is the FBA hub? Oh my God. I can't
It's
even. Help.
SOULAAN. I think that's what it means.
Oh my God. But you know that sexy red song, Sexy Solon.
Oh, then yeah, then that's where you got it from. Some Hotep shit.
Oh, let's take a nap now. It's time for me to go to sleep.
It
I
says, wait, I'm about to read it to you. So, Solon is an ethnic designation and cultural movement used to specifically identify indigenous Black Americans. So,
There's
some
no such
FBA
thing.
shit. Some,
Friends,
some
friends and
FBA
loved
shit.
ones, I come to you today, a Black woman who's, to my knowledge, the longest I've been able to trace my people back is to the state of Maryland. Okay, we are from the Eastern Shore, a place called Deal Island, Maryland. We did not get here because we walked across Pangea. We was brought over in ships, and ships be degrading because they're wood and turpentine and other materials. We are not indigenous to these lands, and that is why y'all sound crazy as cat shit on a Tuesday afternoon. But
And wait. And that don't mean there weren't some of us who were innovative enough to explore and visit and come and interact with the people who was here. I do think that there were some people who were coming and visiting, but they were coming from Africa.
they were, but also like that comes from a place. There's a book called "They Came Before Columbus" by Ivan Van Sertima that has been thoroughly debunked. So like, sure, there are people who might have made that mighty path. They weren't large in numbers, and we are not indigenous to this land. Okay, now we have we need to have some whole conversations about Black people and Indigenous peoples, and whole conversation can be had. But even people who are indigenous to this land, again, was not us. Okay, that's not us. You and I came over on the ships. Okay, we are descendant people who came over on the ships and made a place for us here.
For sure.
But in that, the places that we came from, many of them knew. And I mean, like even in popular culture, in the film The Woman King, there was a concubine of the king who was a vital part of running the kingdom. Black trans and queer, first and foremost, transness and queerness is just is a part of human variation. It's ridiculous. Like disability is a part of human variation. Like moving across borders is a part of is what humans do. And so what we're seeing right now is the rise of a fascist state that is that is criminalizing human behavior and calling it unhuman. And we got to reject that shit with full force, but we have to do that by imagining a future where we all belong, where we all have dignity, where you're born don't dictate whether or not you're treated as a person. And I'm just really grateful for people like Sylvester and for people like Luther Vandross during Black Music Month, people like Whitney Houston, for Ma Rainey, for artists like Miles Mabley and Gladys Bentley and Storm and the shit ton of gay rappers, be they in the closet or not. But Cupcake and oh my God, what's Vicky Blanco?
Mm-hmm.
I am so grateful for us because we are living proof that we did not die in the journey. We didn't. That we brought our people, our history, our customs, and our truths to these shores. And again, to be Black, to be a Black feminist in this moment who is committed to liberation means that I will lay down my life for you because I need you to survive. I need you to tell the story.
Gimme euphoria, more than peace of mind. It's the joy and space to change the tide. Gimme euphoria, more than peace of mind. It's the joy and space to change the tide. Gimme you a feeling and a high you never come down from. Whoa.
Sam, what has been bringing you euphoria this week?
I had an orgasm yesterday that was fantastic.
Ooh.
I am with Black feminists who are and have done incredible abolitionist work, who exist across the gender spectrum. They are genderqueer, they are trans, they are non-trans, they are agender, they are across the gender spectrum and across years of work. And being in this space right now reminds me that another world is possible. And to have this conversation while being in this space is a reminder that we, as Mary Hook says, have a mandate for Black freedom in this time. One thing that is bringing me euphoria is the conversations that will acknowledge and honor and avenge our ancestors and transcestors, and will hopefully earn the respect of future generations so that they know that they were not alone and that we fought valiantly for you to be who you be without exception.
Mm.
What has brought you euphoria this week?
What is
Besides this fucking dress you got on.
you know?
A bad bitch.
What? So I'm glad that you said orgasm because I haven't had an orgasm in a minute, but I'm working on it. So it's coming down the pipeline. I'm working on it. So I want that to be
I will
amazing.
be calling you to hold you accountable. I'll be
Oh,
holding you accountable
accountable.
to coming. Yeah. That's the kind of accountability partner I'm trying to be, bitch. I'm trying to hold you accountable to coming.
Pleasure. Um. Also, this week was the premiere of House of Dragons, and I just
Yes!
love, bitch. I love that we got a YN motherfucking dragon.
Crash out king type shit. Oh my God. When Sheet Stealer was like, well, I'm just gonna set everything on fire, bitch.
I've been chilling, eating motherfucking barbecue, goats and shit, organic in the countryside. I was chilling, and this bitch come and motherfucking find me. This bitch come and find me and throw me in the motherfucking world. I don't know who my cousins and my sisters, and I don't know these motherfuckers. All I feel is motherfuckers attacking me, so I'm blowing everybody up. The fuck you mean?
Also, can we talk about Raina? Raina girl. Fuck was you thinking?
What was you thinking?
And Jace. You just be Jace.
Not listening to your mama?
And that's what happens when you backtalk your parents. And I just feel like Black parents is going
That's
to use
why.
this as an excuse. That's my shit. That's my people shit.
Yeah. It is not exempt in Westeros. The white people is different than the black people.
And what the fuck was happening with Amy? Why are you kissing on your mama on the lips, bitch?
Nigga. And I'm not surprised. They Targaryens and shit. But
Hold on. Can we talk
nigga.
about how the Targaryens are the motherfucking Habsburgs of Westeros? If you don't know what a Habsburg is, bitch, Google it. But the Targaryens are the Habsburgs of Westeros. And we need to discuss this.
I was on Threads and somebody said, "Are we gonna talk about Amen kissing his mama like that?" I was like, "Why the fuck we need to talk about it? That bitch didn't talk about it. She didn't say nothing. Bitch, how the fuck your son?" I remember when a little boy was inappropriate doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. You supposed to teach him in the moment. You don't do that. If a little boy get to touching your ass or touching your titties and or
Bitch,
doing
we punch
something
you in the throat.
inappropriate, yeah, I mean
We
like you don't touch your mama like that. I feel like Miss Allison should have said something in that moment, like, "Son, what is going on? This is inappropriate. What the fuck is?" But I mean, he is a killer, and whatever the shame that he is one of them cuck ass niggas. Remember, he just go to the brothel to be rubbed on and blah 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 in the other season. So he probably that whatever shame she might have drudged up in him might have made him click out. I don't know. He's a crash out ass nigga, so she might have just been be trying to be safe. But yeah, House of Dragons brought me euphoria this week, and just talking about it with black people. If you don't know, we have our own hashtags and shit called "Them Dragons" or the
mm-hmm.
Dragons, y'all, whatever, so that we can be with our people talking about it and it not be super super white centered. But yeah, I loved it. It was amazing. That's what brought me euphoria this week.
Oh, I love that. Okay, well, I have not been on the hashtags and whatnot and so forth. So I'm gonna get on that shit. So
Yes,
I can be in
them
the euphoria
dragons.
with you.
Them dragons on Threads or Twitter, whatever. Them dragons. So Sam, I love you. You are one of my favorite people in the world. I think you are amazing, and I can't imagine once we met, my life without being able to call you and talk to you and kiki with you. You have been a joy addition to my older life as a woman coming of age, coming into my middle aged years. Meeting you during that time has been an addition to the joy of my life. I love being on the phone with you and kikiing with you and getting our shit
Mm.
off, and it makes me feel a part of community. It makes me feel special. It makes me feel loved, and I hope I make you feel the same way.
Diamond, I have to say this, and you have to include it on the pods, but you are such not just a light and a joy. If you've ever met a person who you see them executing their purpose in real time, and it inspires you to be and do better and more in your own life, that is what you bring. I remember us meeting at BTAC more than 10 years ago. And maybe it was 2014 even. And being so just awestruck by how you held yourself, but how you held other people. It has just been a joy and a pleasure to watch you be you and to grow more into yourself. And so watching and being a part of your community and you being a part of mine has rearranged my DNA.
Mm.
And I am so grateful for you. I speak your name at every place I can because I really do feel grateful that you are my sister. And if there is ever a question about who you be, I can always answer that all she be is that good bitch. That is who she be, the fine one, the brilliant one, and the one who cares so deeply that it inspires. Like help build, you are a part of the genealogy of my own practice of Black feminism and loving Black women. And I'm so grateful to you for teaching me how to love Black women better.
Mm. Ditto. Tell the people where they can find you.
The Fire Next Time on all social media, TheFirenextime. But you can also find me in the streets of Baltimore. So I am an organizer with Organizing Black. That is we organize Black people ages 18 to 40 in Baltimore. We are doing an event on July the 8th, where we will be talking about Black folks and immigration and how we can build a Black solidarity politic around immigrants. And so you can find me in the not the mean streets of Baltimore, but the beautiful streets of Baltimore with Black people. You can also find me in the kitchen, right? So I be places with people.
Thank you. And oh, she do throw down. One of my favorite gumbos this bitch made, and I love it. And then we got to fellowship and cook together when we was in St. Louis, in
Yes, we
Missouri,
did. One
and
of my
cooked our
favorite
ass
memories
off.
of life. Cooking was making catfish and spaghetti with you in St. Louis.
Period. Period. So make sure I'm gonna put all of her links down in the bottom, and make sure y'all check her out and follow her and learn. And yeah, thanks Sam for joining us. I love you.
I love you so much, sis. Thank you so much for having me. And I want you to have a day as beautiful as you look.
I'm about to go. I'm about to go get me something to eat and be fabulous somewhere.
All right. Thank you,
Right.
Marsha's Plate community. Be blessed,
Bye-bye.
y'all.
Well, that's it. Thank you for coming and getting a taste of Marsha's Plate. You can listen to us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Make sure you leave a review because we really need those 5 stars, y'all.
And go like our Facebook page and leave some comments. We will be posting exclusive content every Thursday, so you definitely don't want to miss out.
You can also follow us on Twitter and any other social media site at Marsha's Plate. If you'd like to donate or advertise with us, hit us up at diamondstylz@gmail.com. That's Diamond Stylz at gmail.com.
And that's it for us, y'all. Bye.
Bye bye.
You gonna say bye, Mia?
Oh, bye, y'all.
Every little thing's gonna be